Pennatrator. I hit the button. We're networked. We're networking now.
Oh. Are we on?
Yeah, we're utilizing all of our tools finally. iPhones and FaceTime, and that's how we get guests.
Yeah, well, we're getting there.
We are getting there. We are isolating. No one's in the same room. We're all pissed off about that. By the way, welcome to the Patty Bandwagon Show, episode 27.
Yeah, welcome.
Pennatrator, you're okay. Pennatrator's not in a great mood right now. He's going to have his taxes done today, even though he has a 3-month extension.
Yeah, I was a model citizen and already had him going before this thing all broke loose, so
Yeah,
we're
well,
doing good.
Usually people like that are model citizens, they know they're going to have to pay, so they got to get that extension in.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to be the issue?
I hope not.
Well, anyway, someone who doesn't have to file an extension for his taxes is our next guest. His name is Andrew Brewer. He is my former neighbor. What up, Andrew?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Andrew?
Nice burp, Pennatrator.
Yeah.
That's all.
Why don't I have to file taxes?
I don't know, because pro snowboarders don't have to file taxes.
Yeah, I still have to file taxes, but like Pennatrator, I am responsible too and will not have to file an extension.
Ooh, see, Jpaddy, look at that. Some of us have jobs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess some of us pay taxes. But no, I'm super excited to have Brewer on the show. He brings a different element than we've ever had. He's the first professional athlete.
You can't do it, Patty.
No, I definitely can't do it. And I got to give Brewer credit. He put up with trying to teach me how to snowboard for about an hour and 15 minutes.
What a saint.
Oh,
Yeah.
God bless him. Brewer, how'd that go from your perspective?
It went great. I mean, there's only so much I can show you and teach you, and the rest is all you.
That's the right answer.
I'm
Because
not going to hold your hand the whole day.
you tried for a little bit.
Well, to stand your ass up.
Jpaddy, you've lived here your whole life. How is this your first time?
Well, it wasn't my first time. It was actually just my second. But anyway,
Still.
I had other priorities other than going snowboarding.
Like what?
I didn't really love the snow.
That's so weird.
Why is that weird? So I'll give you a little background so we don't go in the weeds. I grew up in the Midwest, in the upper Midwest, where it's cold as shit, snow is everywhere, and it's so cold that you never want to ever be that cold ever again once you move west.
You were like 4.
I lived in the Midwest till I was 5.5. So if we're going to get technical. So...
Brewer, don't you think this sounds weird? This is crazy.
I mean, growing up in Colorado, I lived pretty far from the mountains, so if I grew up in Reno or had lived here for a long time, I would have gone snowboarding every single day, considering we're 35 minutes away from Boreal or Lake Tahoe. Mm-hmm. I drove 3 hours every single weekend all through high school to try and go snowboarding, so it is crazy to me when I see people that have never been.
How'd you get out here?
I got into the University of Nevada, Reno.
Oh,
but
that's
you
I heard
chose
that's a fine school.
It is a fine school, but he chose the University of Nevada, Reno for snowboarding.
Yeah,
Nevada.
I applied to 3 different places. I applied to UNR, I applied to Boise State, and I applied to a place called Fort Lewis, which is in Colorado. But I didn't want to stay in Colorado. That was like my last choice. Boise has Bogus Basin, Sun Valley, other ski resorts up there that are pretty close. And then Reno, obviously, has Lake Tahoe.
Let me go back a little bit. Brewer, you have some other... You participated in some other sports before, obviously, you got hardcore into snowboarding. You were a gymnast, right?
No. I played, like, your normal sports, baseball, soccer as a little kid, stuff like that, but My parents were very much the kinds of parents that were like, you need to do something that's going to get you into college later on, and snowboarding isn't going to do shit.
Okay.
So they made me always constantly play like a normal school sport, basically, so that I had something on a college application that showed interest in other things,
Gotcha.
which is why I did that. But I mean, eventually my high school ended up getting a men's swim team, and so my brother and
That's
I
right.
became the first divers.
Yeah, so you were flipping and doing stuff like that in diving.
Yes.
And maybe, Brewer, stop me if I'm wrong, but does that kind of translate into what you have done the rest of your life? The acrobatics?
I
would
mean,
say?
kind of a little bit. I mean, my dad was a gymnast like his whole life. State champion, went to college, all through gymnastics. So we always kind of had it in us. And I mean, my brother and I were always just doing flips and stuff around on the ground. We never were taking any of it seriously until, I mean, we didn't really take it seriously on the diving team. Like, we were terrible when it came to like the rest of the state and actually competing at it, but run laps in the gym to be on the baseball team and not even make it to varsity, or go and jump off the diving board for 2 hours. Pretty obvious choice.
Pennatrator, just to give you a little follow-up on your question, his little brother, and that's what he calls his brother, his little brother. He never says his name. His little brother asked me the exact same question. How could you live in Reno, Nevada, and never go snowboarding or skiing or anything?
Yeah.
But
it's just so foreign to me because it was so difficult for us to go snowboarding that if we had it so close, we would be doing it so much. But
so you decide to go to school here. And
yep, got in here. That was my first choice, so I was excited.
So can you tell me, what was your first resort that you went to consistently?
I mean, the first year I moved here, I definitely went to North Star and to Boreal the most. Probably Boreal just because it had night boarding. And I guess I was sort of trying to still go to school and snowboard. So, I could always just go up after class to Boreal.
Go ahead, Pennatrator.
When did you get here?
I moved here in 2006. I graduated high school in 2006. As soon as I didn't have to be in Colorado anymore, I moved out here.
Nice. So they were already building the good jumps and stuff. They were already starting that back then.
Yeah, so my aunt and uncle actually live in Davis, out near Sacramento. And we came out here probably, 20 years now, but when I was like a freshman in high school, we actually came out for like Christmas or something to visit my aunt and uncle in Davis, and we drove up and went to Boreal. Pretty much from then on, I was like, I want to be in Tahoe, and I want to be going to Boreal.
How long did it take you to have some sort of shit paid for you?
Yeah, when did you start being kind of professional?
Well, like I don't mean to ask that question in a mocking way, but when it sounds like this is a love of your life, like what you'd love to do, then to be considered professionals, people start giving you shit to do what you want to do, right? Am I on the right page?
So growing up in Colorado, we didn't really have any contests, anything like that. When I was living at the dorms as a freshman, I had my own car out here, and my friends and I started going to these little competition series called Rome iHeart Box Contests, which was sponsored by a snowboard company called Rome. Basically, they would have like ice, snow in parking lots with like a little box in it, and they would travel around to different places in California, Nevada, and have these little competitions. And me and my buddies would drive, sometimes up to like 6 hours every weekend to go to these different ones all over the place. A lot of the same like sort of representatives, like the different reps for all the different brands, would go to these little competitions, and they saw me in every single one. And DC Shoes, the rep for them, his name was Jarrett. He saw me and he was like, "Hey man, you've got some really old boots. Can I give you some new ones?" And I was like, "Give?" And that was the first thing I ever got for free. He gave me a new set of boots, and I started riding for DC for just like their rep team, and then eventually that led into other things and moving higher up in that company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pennatrator, have you made any money skiing?
No. Not at all.
How long have you been a skier, Pennatrator?
Oh, since I was 4. So what is that? 36 years?
50 years?
Yeah. It's been a long time, but yeah, I always paid.
Yeah. So did you ever, Pennatrator, have you ever went off sick jumps, or are you just a squat and get down the hill kind of guy?
Oh yeah, when well they didn't allow jumps when we were younger.
Oh,
right?
wow! In the black and white days,
you could always go build your own somewhere.
Too much work for Pennatrator.
Remember they'd always mark them. They'd destroy them if ski patrol saw them. So it was always hard to like find jumps when I was little. And then it was about high school where they started having like teams of competition and started building jumps, and I loved doing that when I was younger.
Were you on the ski team, Pennatrator?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
That's so. I mean, we never had that growing up. Ski team was something so foreign to me, even growing up in Colorado.
Oh, dude, it was so awesome. You did land training. They paid. Well, they didn't pay for your ticket, your season pass. You had to sell raffle tickets, and if you sold so many raffle tickets, they would pay for your lift ticket. So they bust you up on Saturdays for training, and then you had all day Sunday to ski, and then the competitions were on Wednesdays. So they'd bust you up to different resorts on Wednesday.
You get to skip school?
Yeah, because you're on a team.
Afternoons off.
No, it's all day.
Oh, okay.
So
that's great.
You had to race twice, and then that was it. You had to free ski for the rest of the day.
Whoa.
I always see like the race team people up there like during the week, but I guess I never really put 2 and 2 together that much.
Yeah, they're racing, so they're probably for a school, and then so you get a free ski all day.
I don't want to pick a fight here, and that's not why I'm bringing up this topic. Brewer, they never had snowboarding teams, correct?
I don't know if they do or not.
When you went to high school, though, that was
when I
an
went
option.
to high school. No, I mean, I grew up pretty even though I grew up in Colorado, I lived close to Colorado Springs, so I still had like a 2.5 hour drive. So I wasn't close. I didn't live in like Summit County or anywhere where they had ski or snowboard teams. I don't even know if they have snowboard teams. I've never.
From what I know about Nevada sports, I've never heard of a snowboard team.
I knew a couple of girls that were on like the ski racing team at UNR.
Yeah.
But that was it. But I never heard of a snowboard one. But I think that SNC maybe has a snowboard team. I don't know. Maybe I could get a free college education if I go over to their team.
Maybe one day. One day.
Yeah, never know. Get on scholarship.
As we've talked about, Brewer, your opinion about why snowboarding's in the Olympics is you don't feel like it's a natural reason. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't. I mean, I think that racing and other things, I think that the Olympic Committee said we need to figure out how to get more money and how to raise, viewerships and views on TV. And, what was the hot item at the time was like riding snowboards and riding half pipe and all that stuff. That's why you see ski half pipe, you see ski slope style, all the same things that all the snowboarders did. And, even now going into the summer Olympics, I should say,
yeah,
they have surfing and skateboarding and all these like new sports that unfortunately they're all, it's not like racing. In racing, you can watch somebody go down, start the gate, and at the end of the run, they have a specific time. That's how they compete, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
In snowboarding and in more freestyle sports, you have a panel of judges that can be like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He was a dick at the bar last night. Let's give him a low score. I mean,
is the community that close where you think that could be why some of the results happen the way they do?
I mean, I know for a fact that, I don't know if that's why their reasoning is, but viewerships tend to dictate competition results. So,
definitely.
Like a few years ago during the X Games, for example, like Shaun White got this like crazy high score run because ESPN could use that as a way to market Shaun White made history, da-da-da-da-da-da. even though this other dude had a run that was way sicker, way better, and when he got like third or didn't win, he basically like he leaned and looked towards the judges booth, flipped him off, and flipped off the cameras and said "fuck this" and left because it was bullshit. And I'm just saying that in international competition, especially something as prestigious as the Olympics, that sort of discrepancy between judging and scores shouldn't really be a thing. You know, there should be a clear winner and a clear loser, and snowboarding is not the kind of sport where that is, you know, at least freestyle
feasible.
snowboard, like half pipe and stuff like that. That's something that...
Yeah, well, that's the definition between competition and a sport, right? I mean, it happens all the time with ice skaters and shit like that, right? Anything that's judged has discrepancies in it. So
yeah, but the difference is that each one has a scoring component. It's just like when I was a diver, we did a trick based on the level of difficulty it was. So let's say in ice skating, yeah, they're still giving you a certain thing, but you know, if you do a double axel as opposed to a triple axel, your points are compounded based on each individual thing. In snowboarding, there's like 7 hits and a half pipe, and each one doesn't have its own score rating. Each trick doesn't have its own thing. It's still individually based on what this judge might think is cooler than this one.
oh, so what you're saying is they need to come up with a better scoring system at least.
Yeah, I mean, if they need to break it down to where each jump is like, you know, a triple cork is this, you know, a 3.5 on the difficulty scale, and a quadruple cork is a 4.0. And even if a dude does gets 7s on his 4.0 difficulty, and the other dude gets 8s on his 3.5, then they could outweigh each other if they don't have it like that, you know?
But Brewer, here's kind of my point with this. Like Pennatrator brought up figure skating and what a triple axel is. There's such thing as a clean triple axel versus kind of a maybe not so clean triple axel, right? And that's why a judge is there to distinguish that.
Totally.
And that's why in judge sports, perception is crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. First of all, just the kind of style that snowboarding is. Snowboarding's always been sort of a rebellious thing, non-competition based. Obviously now it really is, but you know, it wasn't based on that. And to see it be monetized for a bunch of TV channels and for commercial use is frustrating when many snowboarders can barely afford to like live, you know?
Right. Well, Brewer, I want you to explain to the Pennatrator, before I ask this question, have you seen my snowboard?
No.
Well,
you
I feel like I'm
described it to
leasing
me.
it. I feel like I'm leasing it, but right now I'm claiming it as my own.
It is yours.
This dude's name's on it.
At least to own.
Yeah, right? But yeah, this guy, I ride his board, like his name's on it. When someone comes up to me and says, who is it?
Whoa. You better not say it like that.
No, I'm saying
I
exactly
wrote
like
my
that.
name in Sharpie on the top of it.
No. Someone actually tried to print it on this piece of board that goes on snow, and it's actually his name. But here's the funny part about it. Whenever someone asks me, hey, who is that on there? I say that's my name.
You guys look alike.
Well, yeah, we're about the same height. He has a little more hair.
I'd be
I
pissed.
work
As
quite
a
as
brewer,
much
I'd be
as
pissed because he'd be like, dude, this guy can't even get on the lift.
I am past that point.
Jesse wears a lot of blue and silver.
But, okay, so, Brewer, I do want you to tell Pennatrator, how many countries have you been in because of snowboarding?
Oh, man. 1, 2, 3.
How about you say a few of them? And
yeah, sure. I mean, I've been to
Bulgaria,
Bulgaria,
Wait,
Japan.
you've been to Lithuania?
Yeah, Vilnius. I've told you this, I thought.
I don't listen.
Lithuania, Bulgaria, Japan. God, I feel like I always like space.
So, here's what's funny. Me, as a very not knowledgeable snowboard fan, I would never think of snowboarding anywhere else than like half pipes, fucking maybe racing down the hill, slaloming, whatever. Explain the type of snowboarding you do.
Okay, so for everybody who's listening, I'll do a quick overview. There's there's really like 4 kinds of snowboarding. There's half pipe competition. There's slope style competition. I guess you could say racing competition, but
who does that?
Skates like that. But I don't know anybody that does that. And then there's like backcountry filming, and then there's like street snowboarding filming, which is a lot more like skateboarding. You're in cities, you're doing stuff like that, which is the kind that I do.
So you find those random cities with snow in them, but you're in a urban feel, and you're finding tricks to do on random shit.
Yeah, I mean, so just like skateboarders, we'll like go and find rails. We'll find like cool architectural features. There's just like a lot of things that will translate really well to film and for like photo use and different things that are really unique and just different kinds of snowboarding, you know?
So what like production team or stuff do you do mostly?
So for a long time, I rode for a company called Tech 9 Snowboards, and we had a production company called Finger on the Trigger, and we went to, that's when I went to Lithuania, we went to Canada a few times, we went to Milwaukee, we've been to Chicago, we've been to Boston, we went to like all kinds of places, and basically just like following, winter storms that were coming through, and then going and flying out like the next day. Like let's say Boston got 2 feet of snow tomorrow.
You were chasing
we would be
snow.
on a flight the next day. What?
You were chasing snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Death Label, are they out of Japan?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I started writing for that company, Death Label. They're a Japanese band. They're awesome. They're, just owned by, a small company, just owned by a dude who loves snowboarding and isn't in it to be the biggest company in the world, but is just passionate about the fun of it.
Yeah. So did they let you do street stuff in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, most countries are really cool about it, except for America. Obviously liability is a huge thing, and Japan's really, they can be really strict depending on the place that you're at, but for the most part, they don't really care at all. They're super chill about it. Now, if you're in a place where it could potentially disrupt things for them, like for example, one day we built this jump over like a 40-foot gap on a water dam. God, we sat in the car for like 2 days just like trying to figure out the security schedule so we could go over and build this jump over this thing. But of course they didn't want us to fall and get hurt and do it, and then they have to close the dam, and it ruins a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So I get that, but I mean, we still tried to do it. And we ended up doing it, but it was a little sketchy. Did have to go to jail one time in Japan. That was not fun.
Oh, did you see the Yakuza?
No, luckily we didn't get put in a cell, but basically what happened is one of our buddies, he hit his head really bad and started like convulsing a bunch, so called an ambulance. When you basically call Japanese 911, it brings out a freaking army of people. Like 25 different cops, and like all these people showed up, like taking pictures of like every single little detail. And 3 of the people that were with our groups, 3 Americans that were with us, didn't have their passports on them, which is a huge no-no in Japan. So they brought us all down to jail. We were there for like 4 hours, interrogating us with all these questions. And then 4 hours later, they ended up just driving us all back up to our hotel in Sapporo, looking at all of our passports, making sure they were all legit, and then just let us go. That was it. But
Dodging bullets.
Kind of fiasco.
Dodging bullets.
That's crazy.
Well,
wow.
Pennatrator, are you getting an idea of who Andrew Brewer is now?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
I hang out with this random guy? It's because he's so famous.
I think he's trying to shake you. He just seems like a nice guy.
Well, Pennatrator, you can tell him you can't shake Jpaddy because you've been trying for years.
It's like the herpes. It just comes back every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does linger.
Just never goes away.
Yeah.
Nope. That's what I've been told,
Yeah, me too.
What I've heard. Tell us all about it, Jpaddy.
So, speaking of lingering, Brewer, is there any way, if whatever's going on in our world today where we have a lack of activity and you can't snowboard, are you going to participate in esports?
I mean, there are a couple snowboard games that are pretty sick.
Pennatrator, are you good at snowboard games?
No, not really.
Pennatrator, have you ever played a snowboard game?
Yes.
Which
At the
one?
time. What the heck was it?
That went over the
So
recording
many,
very
I
well.
can tell.
Yeah, dude, it was when the Xbox first came out. They only had a couple games, and that was one.
Amped 2, Amped 3.
I don't even
If
think
you
it
had
was
an old
Amped.
PlayStation,
Yeah,
it had cool borders.
it was probably Amped.
Amp? I only know the Mountain Dew.
Hey, I heard on the previous podcast that you were hating on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, actually,
Still play
I
your
didn't.
snowboard games on it.
Yeah, I do have to have a correction. I didn't mean the 360.
Which one were you thinking of?
The original Xbox, just Xbox.
But the original Xbox is what has the original Halo. You can play Amped, the original sickest snowboard game. Well, besides Cool Borders, that was on there too. But Xbox had
Have no idea.
Winter X Games 2002.
Yeah, I had a lot of good games. I played Rainbow Six. I mean, that was my game.
That was your
But,
go-to on Xbox?
Yeah, but what I was saying is like, who has one now? Like,
I still
nobody
got
has
mine.
it. You do?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Donate it to Jpaddy.
No,
Let him catch
no,
up
no,
a
no,
little
no,
bit.
no, 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 no.
Or don't
no.
donate it. Don't donate it. Just make him play it, and then
No,
You can play some snowboard games on it.
yeah, and then you could graduate to the 360, and then
Get the
to the
Xbox
one.
Whoa. So do both
Yeah.
of you guys have an issue if I want to just stick to the PS4?
No, actually
not a
do it because
PlayStation
we don't.
guy.
Have, yeah, we won't have to mess with you. So please.
All right.
If PlayStation 4 makes a new re-release of Cool Borders, I'm down. I'm not big into all the other sports games, though. I mean, I'll play some shooter games, but that's about it.
So, Brewer, you're into obviously snowboarding games and some shoot 'em up, but you're not really into like racing games and stuff?
Sometimes, I mean, okay, I'll be honest. I've never had any internet connectivity on any device. So
Me
I've
neither.
never gotten into
I'm in the same
shooting
ballpark.
like playing other people or racing other people or doing anything like that. So a lot of the games that I have, I just like to get the game and then play it for the the mission mode or whatever you want to call it.
You want to just beat the
And-
game.
And beating the game. Yeah, I'm old school, In Super Nintendo, you played until you could beat Bowser, and then
Right.
the game was over and the credits rolled and you were psyched.
Completely
I
agree.
like games like that.
We are on the same page, Brewer. Where
Yeah.
me and Pennatrator differ, Pennatrator wants to sit in a room all the time and play online with random people that he doesn't know and create
No.
relationships that way.
That's not true. I just got a new game 2 days ago.
Okay, I gotta intervene here for a second.
Uh-oh.
When I was a freshman at UNR, my roommate was an online gamer, and he would start playing at like 4 a.m. so he could like play against little girls from Thailand that were like 7 years old. And I've never understood that with the internet gaming. Is that like the only people that play? I don't know.
Come on, Pennatrator, answer this question. Help us out here.
Depends on what. It sounds like he's playing like a Japanese game. I
know
guess.
what
I don't know.
it was. It was cool, but he was
No,
weird.
I picture Pennatrator as a guy that he'll go to 7-Eleven, pick up a six-pack after work. He'll
Of Mountain Dew? Gamer Fuel?
No, not well.
No.
He's an IPA guy just like you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
I'll grab a
anyway,
six-pack.
he'll have dinner with his wife, do the family functions, and then all of a sudden when he finds that lull, he'll sneak up to his gaming room and meet our friend T-Rex and play video games for 3 hours.
Do you have a game room, a specific game room?
Where do you think
No.
he is right now?
I'm in the office.
Exactly, with all his video games.
No. No. No, when we got into this house, I lost my game room. So
Gotta upgrade that extra bedroom.
yeah, Jpaddy needs to calm down.
Is there? I have a weird question. Is there a game-specific light that people use?
Light.
A gaming-specific light?
I'm not understanding this. Do you?
Yeah, what do you mean, like a light bulb?
The reason I ask is because I've walked by like 3 different houses at night lately, just like while I'm out walking the dog or whatever, and I've seen people inside of their room playing video games, and there's like, it's not a black light, but it's like a purplish blue lamp.
It's probably a TV.
And it's just like on.
No. You know what it is?
I've seen like 3 different people that have this same light color play like in their room while they're video gaming.
It's probably 2 things. It's a computer, so their computers are all special and they have a light in the computer, or it's the keyboard, or both. Like the keyboard's lit up now.
Oh, are they just playing? They weren't playing computer games. They were playing like PlayStation or Xbox or something. It was like an actual lamp.
Oh.
It's like a purple, black light, blue light. I don't know.
Shit, no, I don't know about
Maybe
that
just coincidence that these people just had it, but I was just curious.
No, I'll have to look that up.
That's
I
your
do not know.
expertise. You should know, Pennatrator.
Yeah, oh, jeez, there's one.
Times like
That's
these,
one
there's
thing.
a lot of gaming going on.
Well, we talked
Yeah,
about
that's
this in the
true.
previous episode. That's what's going to happen with me. I'm going to become that gamer. But it's only going to be
No.
fucking real sports games.
What's going to be your game? NBA 2K?
No, you keep saying NBA
Madden?
2K. It's going to go Madden, hockey, and soccer.
Are you going to play online?
Not off the bat. I gotta get my game up before I
Yeah,
go.
he's got to learn the Xbox controller.
Not true.
Oh, all right.
You should do Tiger Woods golf. Golf's the best sport there is anyways.
Oh boy.
You know what
Brewer,
you should
this
look
is
into,
not as-
Jpaddy? See if there's a PlayStation controller for the Xbox.
That sounds too complicated.
I'm sure there is. They're almost
Yeah.
the same. They got the same little joysticks and buttons.
If I was Microsoft or Sony, I would not make a controller that would
It's
adjust to
aftermarket.
the other. So
Does Nintendo make any real games?
aftermarket is
Any
always
serious
bullshit.
games?
Go ahead,
Does
Brewer.
Nintendo make any serious games?
Tecmo Bowl?
No, like serious games.
Tecmo
Does,
Bowl.
does Nintendo make anything besides like Mario or anything else? Like, do they make
Nintendo made
like
Tecmo
Call
Bowl.
of Duty or anything?
Who knows?
Can you get Madden on Nintendo?
You could.
Like, is
I'm
Nintendo
thinking.
like the Disney of video games?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's for little kids or adults that just never grew up.
Oh my god.
Hey, I got a Wii, dude. Me and the wife play Wii bowling every once in a while.
Yeah, it's or weirdo people.
That are still playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with that one.
Hey. I never got into the Pokemon thing. I used to sell fake Pokemon cards to kids in middle school.
Now that we're all the way in the weeds, Brewer, thanks for coming on.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.
I know there's probably going to be some major technical issues. I'm hearing echoes and shit in my headphones, but we're just going to let that roll.
We can always do round 2 when the coronavirus is over.
Yeah, so we'll do it next year.
Maybe I'll bring
Those
you
Corona
guys out to build a snowboard jump when next season.
Next year, I should be able to go off a snowboard jump due to your training.
You can do it now.
I do have a helmet. I have a helmet.
There you go.
Okay.
You're totally protected.
Brewer, do you want to talk about Board Dungeon? Like, follow Board Dungeon, follow Brewer, Andrew Brewer. You want to do any of that hype?
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure. You can hit me a follow at Andrew Brewer. It's just my personal. And then I also run an online web store / blog called Board Dungeon, which is just boarddungeon.com, or on Instagram at Board Dungeon.
Sick.
Yeah.
Pennatrator,
Yeah, what's up?
do you have anything to talk about? _Pennatrator or anything?
No, just underscore
No, you're
Pennatrator.
done. Oh, _Pennatrator.
All right. I have one question for both of you guys.
Do it.
Finish
Oh,
up.
okay. Let's do this.
Who is your favorite snowboarder?
Oh, God.
I think
Well,
it has to
like
be
has a
Sean
sport
White
you guys need
because
to
I
get
only
into.
know Sean White.
Andrew Brewer now.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Oh,
better.
you were never his neighbor.
Oh,
He's my number 2. He is my number 2.
You can't say Sean White either.
All right, Nick Brewer.
Nick, the brother. There you go.
Nick Brewer
You guys
is my
need to
favorite
expand
snowboarder.
you guys need to expand your sports.
No, we're getting into esports. That's where we're going with this.
Okay, well,
All right.
I will say that I can name a e-gamer, so got me there.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I do want to say congratulations to the University of Nevada, Reno for winning the Mountain West in esports.
Oh, that's so
Last
gay.
week.
We do not advertise that. And before we go,
Yeah, Jpaddy even sent me the link to it, so he's up on it.
That's a real. Wait. So the college has an esports team, but not a snowboard team.
that
Yeah,
is correct.
yeah. How's that make you feel?
Man.
Yeah.
All right.
That
Thanks for
all I'm
physical
saying
activity.
is before I leave, if you hold your breath for 10 seconds, if you can do that, you can still have coronavirus. This is the most accurate
Oh,
show
you're
we've ever
correcting
had.
from last episode.
Yes, I want to tell people at the very end of our show that I was wrong. And I admit it. Holding your breath does not keep you from coronavirus.
What about if you put a blow dryer up to your face for 5 minutes twice a day?
I'm going to look that up for next week.
I've got the video. I'll send it to you.
All right. I appreciate any assistance.
But
Brewer,
I don't know. It could be false too.
Brewer,
Sounds
thanks for
pretty
coming
false.
on. Thanks for coming
Hey.
on. Penetrator.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Penetrator, what do you have to say to people?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.